Single Mom's 7 Blind Date Reveal, the incredible moment that transformed a CEO's life forever. Jenna's heart raced as she stepped into the buzzing community center, crammed with a mix of anxious singles. The vibrant colors of homemade decorations hung crookedly on the walls, the laughter of children echoing in the air like a distant memory. She chuckled nervously, hoping for a moment of distraction from her hectic life balancing 2 jobs and an energetic 8-year-old named Lily. The thought of dating again felt impossible. Still, she donned her best smile, determined to embrace this leap of faith. Across town, Mark stared at his reflection in the mirror, adjusting his tie for the evening. For all his wealth, he felt emptier than ever. As a CEO, he was surrounded by luxury but hungered for genuine connection. Signing up for a 7 blind date felt impulsive, yet thrilling, a chance to escape the confines of boardroom discussions and slip into a simpler life. Little did he know, this decision would unscrew the lid on his isolated existence. The community center was alive with laughter and chatter. Jenna found herself standing next to Mark, their initial handshake awkwardly lingering as they both glanced down sheepishly. She wore faded jeans, and he was dressed in a crisp suit that seemed far too formal for the setting. But as they exchanged their life stories, something awakened. She talked about balancing work and motherhood, her voice laced with passion, the corner of her eyes lighting up when she mentioned Lily's latest school project. He listened, captivated, as if her words held the essence of life itself. Just as they began to connect on a deeper level, panic struck, the fire alarm blared. Flames licked the walls, and chaos erupted. Children screamed, parents searched frantically for their loved ones, and in an instant, the warmth of budding connection turned icy. Jenna's instincts kicked in, she sprang into action, directing terrified kids toward the exits, unwavering amidst the torrent. Mark froze for a brief moment, his privilege pulling him back to the sanitized safety of his life. But witnessing Jenna's fierce determination shook him from his stupor. He dashed toward her, adrenaline flooding his veins, each step igniting a newfound purpose. Together, they waved away smoke and helped frighten toddlers out of the community center. In that chaos, Mark felt a stirring in his soul, a realization of the world beyond his boardroom walls. Their hands brushed as he handed her a little girl, and their eyes locked, filled with a mix of fear and fierce resolve. When the flames were finally extinguished and everyone was accounted for, Jenna's hands shook as she hugged Lily tightly, tears of relief spilling down her cheeks. Mark stood a few paces away, witnessing both the aftermath of devastation and the resilience shimmering in Jenna's spirit. The fire had laid bare the stark divide between their worlds but also opened the doors to something greater. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the days following the disaster, the community banded together to rebuild, and Mark found himself drawn to Jenna's strength. He realized that he had been living behind a glass wall untouched by the struggles that others faced. As he began to offer his resources to rebuild the center, Jenna felt a flicker of trust ignite within her. But doubts loomed. Could she allow herself to believe in this connection? Mark faced his own fears. Could he truly step away from the confines of privilege and embrace the vulnerability of community? Would they find common ground, or would their past sabotage what had just begun? As their stories intertwined, the lingering question became palpable in the air: could true transformation occur when the walls of wealth collide with the strength of resilience? The uncertainty lingered, pulling readers toward the next chapter as hope and tension danced precariously in their hearts. Jenna busied herself with organizing the volunteers who had come to help rebuild the community center. The air smelled of wood dust and fresh paint, infused with determination. Each nail hammered had a purpose, a story waiting to unfold. Yet, her mind drifted, replaying the moment Mark had rushed to her side during the fire. His presence was not as polished as his suit suggested, but there was a warmth in him that felt real. "Hey, over here," someone called out, snapping Jenna back to the present. A young woman, the enthusiastic leader of the local youth group, waved her over. "We could use your input on the family fun day we want to organize once the center's back up." Jenna nodded, her heart swelling with a sense of belonging. Engaging in the community felt like her heart thawing, promising new joys after years of solitude. Just then, Mark strolled through the half-constructed space, his presence radiating confidence. He rolled up his sleeves, blending into the new reality he chose to be part of, one where everyone worked side by side. "Need a hand?" he asked, glancing down at Jenna with a hint of a smile that ignited an unexpected fire inside her. "Definitely," she replied, feeling both flustered and buoyed. Together, they painted walls, their laughter blending in with the rhythmic thump of hammers and the chatter of rebuilding. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows through the open windows, Jenna found herself stealing glances at Mark. His laughter was contagious, and when he shared anecdotes about his childhood fishing with his father or camping in the woods, she saw glimpses of vulnerability in a man who seemed to have everything. "You're not just a suit," Jenna teased lightly, tossing a paintbrush his way. "You're a real person with stories." "Who knew?" Mark laughed, shaking his head. "Well, I can't let my employees know I have a sensible side, can I?" Their playful banter was punctuated by moments of silence when their eyes met. Each time felt charged, like the space between them was brimming with unspoken words. Jenna wrestled with her growing feelings. Could a relationship with someone like him actually work, or would the differences merely serve as another obstacle? A few days later, as they stood side by side completing the last touches on the center, Jenna turned to him and said, "I've been thinking maybe we could grab coffee sometime." The question hung in the air, laden with hope and fear alike. Mark's gaze softened, his expression shifting from surprise to something deeper. "It like that? I've been wanting to ask you too." The relief washed over her, followed by the gnawing worry of what stepping into a romantic relationship with him might mean. He'd never faced the sleepless nights she did, the constant juggling of responsibilities, or the sacrifice of companionship. She could easily lose herself in him or he in her chaotic life, but as they stood there, surrounded by the rebirth of their community, Jenna couldn't help but think that sometimes, hope was worth the risk. "Let's take it slow," she suggested, her heart racing. "One step at a time." "Deal," Mark replied, and the sincerity in his voice set her at ease. Just as they sealed their unspoken agreement, the loud ping of a phone shattered the moment. A local news alert flashed on the screen, a piece on the fire at the community center and the rebuilding effort. Beneath it, a headline caught their attention: "Local CEO donates millions to local causes." Mark's face paled as he stepped closer to the screen. This changes everything," he whispered, his mind reeling with the implications. What would this revelation mean for their connection? Would it put distance between them or pull them closer? As Jenna watched him process this unexpected twist, she felt the familiar tension of uncertainty settling in her chest. Could they navigate the storm that was about to come? Or would pasts and expectations drown out the flickering flame of possibility? The weight of new emotions loomed in the air, leaving Jenna to wonder would they withstand whatever chaos lay ahead. The days that followed felt different. The excitement of rebuilding the community center was still there, but it was now tangled with the uncertainty swirling around Jenna and Mark. Every time they found themselves near each other, a quiet tension framed their interactions. They detest the waters with light jokes, but the unspoken magnitude of the news about the donation made every laugh feel fleeting and hollow. Jenna focused on organizing the family fun day, pouring all her energy into creating something beautiful for the community. She wanted to feel busy, to distract herself from the building thoughts about Mark. Yet, she would catch him glancing at her from across the room, his smile a mixture of warmth and concern, the very thing that ignited both comfort and conflict in her heart. One afternoon, as Jenna set up tables with colorful banners, Mark approached with something in his hands. "Got something for you," he said shyly, extending his palm. It was a small coffee cup, the kind that promised a quick boost. "Thought maybe we could do that coffee date now right here." A laugh escaped her, surprised and touched. You want our first date to be amidst tables and balloons? Why not? He shrugged, a playful glint in his eyes. No frills, just us. She hesitated for just a moment, the storm of her feelings battling against the joy that flickered within her. This was the kind of simplicity she had longed for, free from pretenses and expectations. Okay, she said, her heart soothing into an easy rhythm as they found a small corner of the bustling room. The sun poured through a window, creating a cozy nest around them, illuminating their faces. Each sip of coffee felt like stepping closer to clarity. Mark spoke about how he had always wanted to give back but never thought it could align with his business goals. But now things feel different. Maybe it's all kind of falling into place. Especially since I met you, he admitted, vulnerability spilling from his lips, her cheeks flushed. You have no idea how much I've been thinking about this. About us. And the money. She paused, careful with her words. I hope it doesn't change you. It won't, he said firmly, his eyes searching hers. I want to believe connections matter more than status. I want to be the guy who doesn't get lost in all this. The night fell quietly, and the air filled with laughter from families enjoying themselves at the center. Jenna took a breath, feeling lighter. Mark reached for her hand across the table, and she didn't pull away. But just as the moment deepened, the sound of disruption cracked through the laughter, a voice calling out Mark's name, urgent and panicked. Jenna turned to see a man barging into the center, eyes wide with disbelief. Mark! You need to come with me. Everything seemed to slow as Mark's expression twisted from calm to dread. He stood abruptly, his hand slipping from Jenna's grip. What is it? The board meeting, the investors, they're not happy. Jenna's heart sank. The lightness of their connection dimmed as she witnessed the stark reality of the world that awaited him. Is there any way to? She started, but the words fell away as the urgency grew in Mark's stance. I have to go, he said, his voice tightened by the chaos. I'll call you later. And with a final glance filled with promises unspoken, he turned and rushed out, leaving Jenna in a swirl of confusion and heartache. As she looked at the buzzing activity around her, the laughter of children felt miles away. The hope she had felt moments before began to flicker, threatened by the storm of reality intruding. Could their simple moments survive the demands of his life? As she scanned the packed community center, Jenna felt the hollow pull of uncertainty settle in her gut. Would their connection withstand the trials ahead, or would it get lost in the whirlwind of expectations that awaited them both? With a deep breath, she steadied herself. There had to be a way through this chaos, but would she discover it in time? Jenna stood frozen for a moment, the laughter and chatter around her fading into background noise. Her heart raced, a jumble of emotions swirling inside. The crowd, vibrant and joyful just seconds ago, now felt like a blur. She needed clarity but found only confusion. As parents gathered their children and the event unfolded around her, Jenna tried to busy herself, but her thoughts always circled back to Mark. His sudden exit had felt like a storm sweeping through her peaceful moment, leaving her wondering if their connection could really withstand the weight of his world. She returned to her tasks, tying balloons and placing tables, attempting to focus on the smiles of the families arriving for the fun day. Each laugh echoed, reminding her of what she had just shared with Mark. She missed that genuine exchange, their coffee date, the lightness between them, but then, as dusk settled, the dynamic in the room changed. Phones buzzed, murmurs spread, and Jenna felt the tension grow. She stepped outside to catch a breath, the cooler air wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. Closing her eyes, she listened to the chirping crickets, wishing to silence her racing heart. Then she heard footsteps. Opening her eyes, she found Lucy, her best friend, rushing towards her, out of breath and wide-eyed. Jenna! You won't believe what I just heard. What? Jenna asked, concern knitting her brows together. Saw Mark at the diner, pacing back and forth, completely stressed out. He was talking to some big shot in a suit. I overheard them discussing some deal he's trying to close. Apparently, their essay lot riding on it. Jenna felt the weight of Lucy's words settle heavily in her chest, a mix of pride and worry battling for dominance. He said he wouldn't get lost in all this, but what if he does? Lucy placed a hand on her shoulder. You can't overthink it yet. Maybe he just needs time to navigate this. You two were having something real before all of this happened. Jenna's heart ached at that reminder. But it feels like every moment that pulls him away from me is a moment we lose. Then make sure he knows you want him back, Lucy urged. You need to take that leap, Jenna. Reach out. Be clear about what you want. As much as Jenna longed to follow that advice, fear whispered doubts in her ear. Would he think she was clinging? Would he be too engulfed in the chaos of his responsibilities to hear her? But the uncertainty of silence felt heavier. What if he needs me to remind him of what really matters? She pondered, with resolve filling her. She pulled out her phone, fingers trembling, ready to type. Before she could talk herself out of it, she sent a message. I know things are crazy right now. But I believe in us. I'm here, and I'm ready to fight for this. It took only seconds before her phone buzzed back, a reply that made her heart skip. I'll find you. I need to explain everything, came his message, purposeful and direct, but it wasn't just the words that struck her. It was the promise behind them. Hope swelled in her, mixing with apprehension. Would they truly navigate this complex dance together, or would the pressures of his world pull them apart? As she looked back towards the community center, the laughter filled her ears again, but now it felt like a rallying cry instead of a distant memory. She would stand tall in the face of uncertainty, but underneath that bravado, the question lingered: could love truly survive when the world demanded so much? And just when she was ready to step back inside, her phone pinged again. Mark's name lit up her screen. I'm almost there. I need you. With her heart racing, Jenna took a deep breath, uncertainty and anticipation colliding within. What would he bring with him? Would their moment finally emerge from the shadows? Jenna's breath caught in her throat as she read Mark's message. The seconds felt like hours as she weighed his words. I need you. They echoed in her mind, wrapping around her heart like a promise. Her palms were damp as she steadied herself, willing herself to walk back into the community center where the laughter and warmth surged like a tide, but this time her heart thrummed to a different beat. She pushed open the door, letting the sounds envelop her. The energy in the room shifted. Children squealed with joy, parents bantered, and light sparkled from the decorations above. But all she could focus on was Mark. Her heart raced with the uncertainty of what this encounter might hold. Minutes felt like an eternity until she spotted him at the entrance, his tall frame outlined against the warm glow, taking in the scene. He looked different, more stressed, but still handsome. The edges of his mouth turned upward when their eyes met, and her heart fluttered. He looked like he needed her. Hey, Jenna said, her voice barely above a whisper as he reached her side. Hey, Mark replied, a hint of relief flooding his features. He seemed nervous, shifting on his feet, but there was something else, a determination she hadn't seen before. I'm sorry for the sudden everything. Can we talk? Of course. She nodded, emotions swirling again, but this time fueled by hope rather than fear. They moved to a quieter corner of the event. The bright colors of the balloons and decorations felt like a stark contrast to the heavy topic they were about to tackle. It's just, everything is changing so fast, he started, running a hand through his hair, a habit she recognized from their first coffee date. The company is in a crucial stage. I thought I could handle it, but I felt myself getting swept away. I don't want to lose what we have. Then don't, Jenna said, her voice steady, but inside, uncertainty lingered. You don't have to face everything alone. I want to be there for you. I know, he said, his eyes softening. But I feel like I'm not enough. I don't want to pull you into this chaos, Jenna. You deserve more than the mess I'm dealing with. Her heart tightened. We're allowed to lean on each other. I can handle the chaos, but I guess I need to know if you want me there. He took a deep breath, his gaze intense. I'm afraid, Jenna. Afraid of what this could mean for us. There's so much at stake. What do you mean? She felt the heat rise in her cheeks. I mean, I'm starting to think that maybe I could be ready for something real. But if I screw this up, you won tea, she assured him, stepping closer. If you let me in, we can face each moment together. We're a team, right? He smiled softly, the tension easing just a fraction. A team. But behind that smile was a flicker of doubt. She could sense it, gripping him like a shadow. Just then, a loud burst of laughter pulled their attention. Lucy was chatting with a group of kids nearby, her warmth radiating through the room. Look at them, Mark said, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. It's amazing how much joy can come from just being present. Jenna felt a spark of inspiration. Then let us be present. Not just for the others but for ourselves. We can figure this out together, Mark. I believe in us. Mark looked into her eyes, searching, and finally nodded. Okay. I'll try, he said, his voice low and filled with sincerity. Suddenly, laughter erupted again from the crowd, and Jenna couldn't help but feel a lift in her spirits. In that moment, she realized something deeper was shifting between them. Tonight isn't just about the event, is it? She said, her voice softening as she sensed the pivotal moment hanging in the air. No, he breathed, it's about us. As they stood there, an invisible thread tied them together, raw and real. But as everyone around them began to wrap up their festivities, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. What happens now? She asked, her heart pounding with anticipation and fear. Mark glanced toward the exit, where a mass of uncertainty waited just outside. I don't know. But we'll find out together, right? As resolve steadied her pulse, Jenna felt the gravity of the moment. They were standing on the edge of something monumental, but would they leap into it, or would the world's demands pull them apart? In the distance, the last rays of the sun melted into twilight. Something significant was about to unfold. Would it lead them to a new beginning or leave them stranded in a storm? The air hummed with unspoken tension as Jenna stood beside Mark, feeling the weight of uncertainty yet ignited by a flicker of hope. Every heartbeat felt like a countdown to an answer, a revelation that lay in the space between them. Can we take a walk? Jenna suggested cautiously, glancing toward the entrance. The noise of the festivities faded slightly as the two of them navigated through the crowd. The soft glow of string lights formed a pathway outside, guiding them away from the chaos inside. The cool evening air kissed her cheeks, a stark contrast to the warmth of the crowded room. This feels different, doesn't it? Mark asked, glancing sideways at her with an apprehensive smile. It does, she admitted, drawing in a deep breath. But maybe that's okay. Maybe different is good. Jenna felt the tension start to ease as they walked slowly, side by side. A sense of freedom washed over her, the liberation of expressing feelings that had been bottled up for so long. I want to support you, Mark. I really do. But it's hard not to feel the weight of your worry. He stopped, turning to face her fully. I don't want my issues to overshadow what we could have, he said, his eyes reflecting the flicker of the lights above them. But I also don't want to pretend everything is fine either. The honesty in his voice sent a shiver through her. Jenna's mind raced with the implications. Change meant risk. It meant digging into the cracks of uncertainty, exploring the raw nerve of their connection. Then let us talk about it. Here and now. No pretending. Mark let out a small, relieved laugh. You're right. No games. I don't know where to start. Start wherever you want, she encouraged, her heart racing as he took a deep breath. What's weighing on you the most? He hesitated, the silence stretched between them. It's the pressure. The project at work. It's not just my career on the line. It's everything I've built, everything I've sacrificed. And I've only just begun to see what matters outside of it. His voice softened, the vulnerability revealing something deeper. You matter to me, Jenna. And it terrifies me. Her heart swelled, matched only by the fear that whispered of doubt. What if the chaos spills over and it affects us? It could, he admitted, his gaze steady. But I don't want to shut you out. You're a light in the dark right now. I feel that too, Jenna whispered, emboldened. But if we're taking that leap, can we promise to communicate? Honest and open. I don't want us to get lost. Mark nodded slowly, and a smile grew from the corners of his mouth. I promise. I want to fight for this. For us. At that moment, Jenna felt an intoxicating rush of emotion surge through her, born from the understanding that they were both scared yet willing. Just then, a child's laughter rang out from the direction of the center, pulling them back to the reality of the party. See? She said, a spark of joy lighting her face. Life is chaotic, but there's joy too. We can't lose sight of that. We just need to navigate the storm together. Mark took a step closer, determination etched in his features. I'll do everything I can. No matter what happens, I want to figure out a way to make it work. Jenna searched his eyes, where she saw sincerity, and wondered if they were both ready for this depth of connection. Do you think it's possible? To be in the eye of the storm and still find calm? I think so, he said softly, brushing his thumb against her hand. But we have to be committed. Are you ready for that? She took a deep breath, a rush of resolution washing over her. I am. But promise me something, Mark, promise me that if things get tough, we won't back away. That we won't let fear win. He tightened his grip gently, a silent promise between them. I promise. In the glow of the string lights, Jenna felt an overwhelming sense of clarity. But behind that clarity, a mosquito of doubt nagged at her mind. Was she truly ready for the commitment that came with opening her heart? As they stood there, a couple of friends passed them, laughing, their carefree spirit a sharp contrast to the heavy moment. Jenna's heart lifted amidst the uncertainty. There's still a lot to figure out, she said, a small smile breaking through. Yeah, he replied, warmth radiating from him. But we've got time. You, me, this, he gestured to the stars emerging in the twilight. Yet, just as relief settled in her heart, a sudden thought struck her, tugging at her resolve. But what if the past catches up with us? What if your company pulls you back into the chaos? Mark's face darkened momentarily, a shadow creeping in. We'll face it together, right? Jenna looked into his eyes, feeling the weight of that promise. But as her heart raced once more, she couldn't help but wonder if they were truly prepared for the storms that still awaited them. She squeezed his hand tightly, but a question hovered in the air, unspoken yet urgent. Would they truly be able to hold on to each other as the chaos threatened to surge forward once more? Just then, the community center door swung open again, laughter spilling out once more like waves crashing upon the shore of their budding relationship. With every step they took together, they stood on the precipice of something incredible or devastating. The laughter from inside wrapped around them, mingling with the cool night air as Jenna and Mark made their way further from the crowd. Each step felt like a small victory. They were out here together, facing the unknown. But wasn't that the essence of life? Have you ever thought about what you'd do if you quit your job? Jenna asked, her curiosity bubbling to the surface. She had seen it in the way he held back, that longing for something more than the grind of corporate life. Mark glanced at her, his expression thoughtful. Every day, he confessed. Sometimes it's like, what's the point? I want to make a difference, not just hit targets. His nibble on the edge of vulnerability made Jenna crave more of his truth. Then why not start small? You know, find something you love on the side. She suggested. Moving beyond his burdens felt as liberating as stepping into sunlight after a long winter. He considered her words, nodding slowly. I think a part of me is scared of letting go. Everything has been defined by success in my head. But I want to build something meaningful. You have that fire, Jenna said, feeling her excitement rise. Maybe it starts with us figuring it out together. She paused, trepidation flickering in her chest. But that does mean facing our fears head-on. As if sensing her hesitation, he squeezed her hand. What about you? What do you want for yourself? The question caught her off guard. Jenna had always focused on being a mom first, her own dreams tucked neatly away. Honestly, I've put my ambitions on hold for too long. I want to write again. The confession spilled out, unguarded and raw. It's been my passion. It's where I find my voice. Mark's eyes lit up. You should. You're incredible at it. Why haven't you? Life happened. Between work and raising Sam it became something I wanted but felt I couldn't do anymore. There's always this nagging voice that tells me I'm not good enough. She felt herself waver as the doubts rushed in, reminding her of the countless rejections she collected like badges of failure. Don't listen to that voice, he urged, his tone fierce. You are talented, Jenna. Your words have the power to move people, to connect. That's not something to silence. His encouragement felt like a buoy in the stormy waters of self-doubt. Thanks, Mark. That means a lot coming from you. They continued walking, the connection deepening with each step taken on the well-worn path toward the edge of the pond, the water shimmering under the moonlight. The scene felt almost surreal, like something straight from the stories Jenna loved to write. But in the serenity, the reality of their situations loomed. What if things don't work out? She finally asked, the weight of her fears surfacing again. What if we end up being just another statistic? Mark's silence was heavy, filled with the lingering uncertainty of both their futures. I guess we can't know for sure. But what I do know is that if we're together, we'd be navigating our way through the chaos. And honestly, that sounds like an adventure I'm ready for. His words settled around them, a comforting blanket against the chilling question of the unknown. Just as Jenna was about to reply, her phone buzzed in her pocket, slicing through the intimacy like a cold draft. With a quick glance at the screen, her heart dropped. Oh no, it's Sam's school. I need to take this. She stepped back, uncertainty flooding back in as the weight of responsibility pressed down on her once more. Go ahead, Mark encouraged softly, his supportive gaze lingering on her. Jenna nodded, her heart thumping not just from the sudden urgency but a deeper worry. Could they truly hold on to this connection as life's responsibilities threatened to unravel their fragile bond? With a quick breath, she answered the call, knowing that the next moments could change everything. But what awaited her on the other end could lead to newfound treasures or even deeper challenges. Would she find an anchor in Mark, or would they both lose their way amidst the storm? Jenna, is everything okay? The calm voice of the school administrator came through the line, but Jenna could hear the underlying tone of concern. Yeah, of course. Sorry, I just saw the caller ID and she took a breath, forcing herself to focus. What is going on with Sam? There's been a small incident during recess. He's fine, but we thought it best to have you come in and look him over, the woman explained. Jenna felt her heart race. What kind of incident? Is he hurt? No. He's not hurt. Just a little shaken. You know how kids can get. Her mind raced. Sam had never been one to get frightened easily. I'll be right there. She hung up before the woman could say anything else, looking up at Mark. The warmth of their conversation seemed to fade as the reality of motherhood crashed back in full force. Is he okay? Mark's eyes held a mixture of concern and understanding. He's fine, but I need to go. He had a little incident at school, and I want to make sure he's all right. Mark nodded, though Jenna could see the disappointment etched on his face. Want me to come with you? She bit her lip, torn between wanting his company and the overwhelming feeling of responsibility tugging at her. It's probably just a minor thing, but I appreciate it. I should handle it. Okay, he said softly, his voice steady but his eyes reflected the unspoken connection they had just forged. Just remember, if you ever feel overwhelmed, you don't have to carry it alone. As Jenna turned to leave, the moonlight bathed her in a silvery glow. She couldn't shake the feeling that this moment could change everything, but the doubts loomed once more. Could she truly balance her responsibilities with pursuing her passion? At the school, Jenna parked and rushed inside, her thoughts swirling. Sam was in the nurse's office, sitting quietly, his small frame dwarfed by the oversized chair. He looked up as she entered, relief washing over his face. "Mom!" he exclaimed, and Jenna felt her heart clench. "Hey, buddy. What happened?" She knelt beside him, searching for any hint of what wound had caused this. "Just some kids were playing too rough. I fell over, but I'm okay," Sam said, brushing his hands against his jeans while putting on a brave face. Jenna hugged him tightly. "I'm glad you're all right. Did you want to talk about it?" "No, just wanted you," he said, and her heart melted. In these tiny moments, Jenna found clarity. As they headed home together, she wrestled with the thoughts of sharing the world of writing with him. Sam always loved the stories she told at bedtime. Maybe it wouldn't just be for her anymore, maybe inspiring him would reignite her passion. Later that evening, with Sam tucked into bed, Jenna sat in her small living room, fingers hovering over her laptop. She could hear the silence echoing around her, nostrils flared at the scent of forgotten dreams. But when she opened a blank document, the blinking cursor seemed almost welcoming. Then came a knock at the door, pulling her from her thoughts. Jenna's heart quickened. Who could it be at this hour? With cautious steps, she approached, wondering if it could be Mark. Curiosity battled apprehension. She opened the door to find a familiar face she hadn't seen in years. "Surprise!" the woman exclaimed, holding a bouquet of flowers and bursting with energy. The shock wrapped around Jenna like a heavy fog. Emily. A million thoughts rolled through her mind. What was her old friend doing here? Did she bring memories or chaos? "Can we talk?" Emily asked, her eyes sparkling but serious. Jenna hesitated, her heart racing, knowing that whatever was coming might pull her further into the unknown. Yeah, sure. What more did destiny have in store for her on this night she thought would be ordinary? Would Emily's visit unveil directions Jenna hadn't even considered? She stepped back, inviting her friend inside, ready to dive into the unexpected. Jenna closed the door behind Emily, the lingering weight of years passing between them palpable in the air. She gestured for Emily to sit on the worn-out couch. "It's been ages. What brings you here?" Emily settled in, tucking the bouquet beside her. "I was in town and thought of you. I couldn't leave without saying hi." Jenna tried to make sense of the sudden warmth flooding her cheeks. The years had drifted them apart, yet the familiarity of Emily's presence stirred something deep inside. "How have you been?" "Busy. But I'm good. Things are changing, and I feel ready for something new," Emily said, her voice laced with excitement. "That's great. What do you mean by something new?" Jenna asked, her curiosity piqued. Emily paused, glancing down at her hands. "I've been working on a project. It's a big deal, and I'm finally taking the leap. It's about helping women rediscover their passions." Jenna leaned in, intrigued. "That sounds amazing. How can I help?" "I actually came to ask for your input. You've always inspired me. You have a way with words, Jenna. How's your writing going?" The question sat like a stone in Jenna's stomach. For a moment, the memories of late nights spent creating worlds filled her mind, those dreams pushed aside for practicality. "I haven't written much lately," she admitted, the vulnerability creeping into her voice. "Why not?" "It's what you love," Emily replied, leaning forward earnestly. "You should be doing this. No one should let fear hold them back." Jenna's heart raced at the truth in Emily's words. Hadn't she just felt that desire to reignite her flame, especially after that tender moment with Sam? She took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of hope thrumming beneath the doubts. I guess I'm just trying to figure everything out being a single mom and all. Emily nodded, absorbing every word. I get that. But you have this fire in you. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe you could channel that into something amazing. I mean, look at your son. He's going to need you to show him how to pursue his dreams, too. Jenna felt herself brighten at the thought. Sam had a spark of creativity that reminded Jenna of herself at that age. You're right, she admitted, her tone softening as pride swelled for her son. He loves storytelling. It'd be great to write something together. Emily's eyes lit up. That's it. You need to share your journey with him. You can write stories that inspire not just him but other kids, too. A whole new world opened up. A wave of excitement swept through Jenna. Perhaps it was possible. I've always wanted to write a children's book. I just didn't think I could juggle it all. Jenna, we're our own biggest obstacles. Emily insisted. Imagine how fulfilling it would be to show Sam that he can dream big and achieve it. As Jenna considered Emily's words, both fear and exhilaration danced in her heart. This moment felt pivotal, like a light flickering on in the dark corners of her life. The encouragement filled her with a bubbling sense of possibility, weaving hope and inspiration together, but before Jenna could respond, Emily's phone buzzed, interrupting the magic. Emily glanced at the screen, her expression shifting. Sorry, I need to take this. It's work. But promise me you'll think about it. Jenna nodded, her heart racing with both eagerness and anxiety. I will. I promise. Emily stood, rushing to the door. Let's touch base soon, okay? I can help you find the right path. With that, Emily dashed out, leaving Jenna in a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. She stood alone, heart pounding, staring at the blossoms Emily had left behind. As the smell of flowers enveloped her, the weight of uncertainty felt lighter. Would she dare to take that leap, not just for herself but for Sam? With newfound determination brewing inside her, Jenna turned back to her laptop, the cursor's blink seeming brighter than before. But what if she committed to her craft and Sam joined her in this journey? The possibilities seemed endless. Just then, her phone chimed a message from Mark. Hey, just checking in. Is everything okay? A smile tugged at her lips. Maybe he could also be a part of this little dream, but as she opened the message, Jenna caught sight of the same moonlight shimmering in through the window, illuminating her path ahead. A thrill rolled through her. What she didn't know was how entangled her decision would soon become with Mark's unexpected revelation. Could she truly weave her dreams, motherhood, and budding romance into something beautiful? As the dawn broke over the community center, its golden rays streamed through the still crisp air, casting a hopeful glow on the blossoming connections and cherished moments yet to come. Jenna stood outside, her heart brimming with anticipation. The family fun day was here, and with it came the promise of joy, laughter, and fresh beginnings. In the previous days, Jenna had poured everything into organizing this event. She had rallied the community support, painted vibrant banners alongside Mark, and felt, for the first time in years, the excitement of belonging. Hints of blooming relationships and rekindled dreams had set her heart aflame, and now, she stood ready for something remarkable. Hey, Super Mom. Mark's voice chimed over the chatter of kids filling the space. Jenna turned, her favorite grin lighting up her face. His tailored suit might still hug his form, but his commitment to being present shone through. You ready for this? I was born ready. She replied, playful confidence bubbling over. The scent of popcorn and fresh lemonade wafted through the air, mingling with excited screams of children racing around the center. Jenna took a deep breath, letting the atmosphere wrap around her like a warm hug. This is it. As parents arrived, laughter filled the air, reminiscent of the noise that haunted her on that chaotic day when everything changed. But this time, the chaos was joyful. Mark walked over, carrying a handful of colorful balloons. Not bad for a Saturday morning, huh? Pretty incredible, Jenna agreed, her heart swelling. Both of them had stepped beyond old definitions of success. The real treasure lay within the community they were building, the connections they forged, and the embrace of genuine life experiences. Before she could say more, Sam burst into view, sprinting toward Jenna with a proclamation of excitement. "Mom! Look! I made this!" He held up a handmade postcard, adorned with stickers and crayon doodles. Eyes dancing, he added, "I'm gonna sell them for $1 each. Can I?" Tears of pride filled her eyes. "Absolutely. That's amazing." Off in his own world of creativity, Sam had taken a big step, and Jenna's heart swelled with the realization that she could nurture both him and her ambitions at once. Suddenly, Mark kneeled beside Sam. "That's an awesome project, buddy. Can I get one too?" Sam beamed, astonished. "Really? You want one?" Mark grinned, his warmth wrapping around the interaction. Jenna felt the edges of her heart soften. This was what she had been hoping for, mingling lives, weaving stories right in front of them. The event blossomed into a kaleidoscope of colors. Food stalls sparkled, competitions flourished, children giggled, and stories flowed as everyone mingled. Amidst it all, Jenna caught glimpses of Mark interacting with families, sprinkling the day with kindness. As dusk began to settle, Jenna found herself near the playground, admiring the laughter ringing through the air. She spotted Mark, and their eyes met, a silent connection sparking anew. "Can I steal you for a moment?" he asked, a playful smile on his lips. "Just for you, always," she replied, warmth cascading over her. They stepped away from the vibrant festivities, the murmur of laughter becoming a distant echo. Under the twinkling stars above, Jenna gazed at him, a mixture of gratitude and excitement swirling within her. "Jenna, I've thought a lot about what you said the other night," Mark began, his voice steady but laced with emotion. "About balancing everything we love. I don't want to misstep this time. I want to be open, honest. I want you in my life, and I'm ready to risk it all if you'll have me." Her heart raced. "I want you too, Mark. I can't promise that it'll all go perfectly, but I want to step into this together." With an emotion-laden pause, Mark searched her eyes. "Together," he confirmed, stretching out his hand. As she placed her palm against his, a sense of warmth flooded through her, solidifying this unbreakable bond. The uncertainties ahead felt far less daunting than before. In that moment, Jenna realized that embracing love required vulnerability. They weren't simply two individuals, it was a new chapter of a family. It was the weaving of dreams, adventures, and the nurturing of shared passions. "There's still the matter of your writing," he teased lightly, remembering Emily's words. "I've seen how it ignites you. You're the one who can inspire. Don't you think it's time to chase that dream?" Her heartbeat quickened. "You're right. Writing with Sam, that's a spark worth exploring." The bond between them deepened, not just as partners but as creators willing to face the unknown. It was about resilience, how they would embrace life's unpredictability together, armed with the courage of their truths and the strength of their dreams. As laughter erupted again from the center, Jenna squeezed Mark's hand, taking one last look at the colorful horizon. With every step, they were crafting a narrative together, one where love, family, and creativity intertwined harmoniously. And right then, in the vibrant heart of the community, she felt overwhelmingly grateful for this wild, unpredictable, beautiful new beginning hanging above their heads like a promise. "Let us do it," Jenna smiled, holding on to that feeling of incredible hope together. "It's your turn to take a leap with us." Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.